Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with an intense encounter at the local Bullseye store that shows how a seemingly simple shopping trip can turn into a major ordeal. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Ma'am, those are tumors, not monkeypox, and I don't work here. So I was at my neighborhood Bullseye store looking around for some root beer and minding my own business like most normal people do. The aisle was empty aside from myself, and I was listening to Being Scared on YouTube with some small earbuds so I couldn't hear what was going on around me. I'm also very visibly disabled. My hands and face are full of tumors from neurofibromatosis. They aren't gigantic, but they're there. Because of this, my central nervous system is totally shot. Simple tasks like washing my hands can sometimes cause excruciating pain, and because of this, I really don't like to be randomly touched unless I know the touch is coming. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a 40-ish looking woman tapping her high heel in my direction. I ignore her as she's not my problem to deal with, and she's being rude. I suddenly feel a tug on my ear, and my earbud falls to the floor, and I see her foot stomp on it. I'm pissed. She's trying to pull me to a standing position by my ear, and with a reflex, I take a swing backwards and connect with her face. This probably hurt me a lot more than it hurt her due to the tumors in my fingers. Karen, you hit me. I don't even let her finish her sentence. Me, don't effing touch me. You just assaulted me and broke my property, and you're going to replace it. Karen, the hell I am. I just wanted the laundry detergent location, and you just hit me. As I turn to face her, she notices the tumors on my face and starts screaming to where someone in the deepest pit of hell would hear her. Karen, oh my God, this man has monkeypox and isn't wearing a mask. Security, police, anyone, help! There's noticeable swelling under her right eye at this point, and a manager and a security guard approach. Karen, this employee just punched me in the face. All I wanted to know was where the laundry detergent is. Manager takes one look at me and starts to ask, Sir, who is your direct Me. Are you really about to ask me if I work here? Take a close look at me, dude. He kind of squints, looking at my face, clearly noticing the tumors. K. See, he has monkeypox. Sir, you really should be wearing a mask. Me. No! I'm disabled. These things on my face are tumors, and this woman just assaulted me and broke my personal property. I very obviously don't work here. Look at my shirt. I was wearing a Blackpool Combat Club shirt with the matching hoodie. Get the police here now. The manager goes white as a ghost. The security guard's already on the radio with the local PD at this point, and I know I better calm down and let cooler heads prevail here, because I don't want to go to jail. When the police arrive, I give them my version of the events. I'm sure to let the cop know I'm disabled. He even empathizes with me, and Karen gives hers, and one of the officers goes and watches the security tape with the security guard, and they come back after a few minutes, and the two cops talk to each other out of earshot for a few minutes before they come back. Cop 1. Sir, would you like to press charges? K. What? He hit me? Cop 2. No. I saw the video. You attacked this man who's very obviously another customer and clearly disabled. What the hell's the matter with you? Karen didn't really seem to have an answer as the reality of what she did seemed to think in. Me. Yes, I'd like to press full charges. So Karen gets a nice pair of handcuffs, and that was that. I'll probably have to go to court. For those wondering, I was wearing Raycons, so they won't be replaced unless I take her to civil court. But for my sanity, I'll just eat the cost and replace them myself. The manager did apologize for asking, and that was enough for me. I won't hold a grudge against the guy for it. The cop also gave me his card and told me to call him if I need anything on the case. Did get my root beer, but I ordered from Bevmo instead. Seriously, who are these characters that think grabbing someone from behind will work well? And our second story. Boss says to look pretty. This isn't my story, but my friend's. My friend worked at a jewelry store, and the attire was a business suit. She loves her job because she's surrounded every day by precious metals and stones. She's a nerd for Victorian fashion, or whatever esques there is regarding fashion, balls, princesses, and royalty of Europe. Anyways, the only thing she hates in that job was the manager, Susie. From the account of my friend, Susie has an attitude similar to the fairy godmother from Shrek, very kind in front of customers, but would then bare her teeth when they left. Her favorite pastime was to chat with a customer while criticizing the employees with remarks about their looks, appearance, or how what accessories they wore didn't match their complexion and such. And she just seems to have a grudge for my friend, probably because she engages with the customer with minor trivia like, "Did you know jade has a hidden meaning?" and such, and it made a lot of people return to the store. One day, Susie came in extremely pissed and started off on my friend about how she looks, mind that she dresses as plainly as possible because she geeks out when it comes to anything fashion related to the 14th century, and that she has to look like what the customer wants to look like. I imagine that a light bulb went off in her head and blood rushing to her face as she thought things she could wear and whatnot. So for the entire week, which crosses Valentine's Day, she dressed up in gowns and dresses matched with accessories that made her look like a Barbie princess. The entire time, there were people coming up to her about the dress, the accessories, and the theme to which she explained with delight. Susie was steaming the entire time. She tried to get her fired, but the owner was present because of the upcoming holiday and was happy with the increase in sales then. I managed to sneak by and saw her in a white dress that screamed Frozen, if it had an Eastern vibe to it, and Susie glaring from the back. I heard she left after the week was over without notice and someone else was promoted. My friend wasn't too bothered because the current manager had seniority and was pretty chill, so she's happy. Friend deserves a bonus for providing free marketing and bringing business to the store. And our last story. Neighbors tried to steal our land and lost. When my husband and I bought our home on a 3/4-acre plot about 9 years ago, we were thrilled. We were just months away from getting married, and this was a milestone we had eagerly anticipated. On the day we took possession, we picked up the keys and drove to the house. We stepped out of the car holding hands and took a moment to admire our new home. But our peaceful moment was abruptly interrupted when an elderly man from the house next door came running toward us. Breathless and eager, he launched into a long-winded list of complaints about the house, telling us all the problems the previous owners had experienced. His arrival and incessant chatter quickly dampened our excitement. Despite our attempts to politely move him along, he barged into the house, inspecting every room and making comments about the features. It took some effort, but we finally managed to escort him out. One of the peculiar things he mentioned was that the green chain-link fence between our properties was supposedly on our property and that we were responsible for its maintenance. He pointed vaguely to the rear northwest corner of our property, suggesting that the survey marker there confirmed this. He also claimed that the previous owners had moved a buried front survey monument, making it unreliable. At the time, we thought his story was odd and dismissed it. My mother always taught me to be kind and hospitable, while my father advised keeping friends close and enemies closer. So despite our bizarre first encounter, we decided to invite our neighbors, Joe and Rose, over for dinner. During the meal, they regaled us with tales of their grievances with other neighbors. Rose, with her high-pitched voice, boasted about how she'd called the police on anyone who played music, had backyard fires, owned dogs, or even had children playing outside. Her stories were shocking. And after that dinner, we decided to keep them at arm's length. Our issues with Joe and Rose began with the property line. Years after moving in, we had our driveway repaved, and Joe took the opportunity to repave his driveway and add a parking pad next to our green chain-link fence. In May 2017, Joe accidentally backed into the fence, bending 2 posts and splitting a section. We discovered the damage when our 3 dogs escaped into his yard. When we confronted Joe, he denied responsibility, suggesting instead that it must have been his snow removal guy from months earlier. We repaired the fence ourselves with wire and decided to let it go, even though we suspected he was lying. Rose soon began to complain about the ugly repaired fence. At first, I thought she was joking, but her repeated complaints grew tiresome. When she offered to split the cost of replacing the fence, I initially dismissed her offer. However, when she brought it up again, we agreed to negotiate. We decided on a wooden fence instead of chain link, and after some back and forth, we agreed on a 5-foot-tall wooden fence. Joe and Rose wanted it to be on the existing fence line, which we reluctantly accepted to avoid further conflict. They agreed to pay us $1,000 for their share of the cost. Unfortunately, once the new fence was installed, Rose hated it and claimed it was ugly. She refused to pay the agreed amount and insisted that we no longer had the right to enjoy the view of the ravine that the old fence had allowed. They planted hedge cedars and a blue spruce tree on their side to block our view. Rose began a screaming campaign about the fence's appearance and even claimed that they owned the view, which was absurd. The situation escalated when Rose accused my husband of threatening her during a dispute about the fence. We had to call the police, and while they were skeptical of our claims, they intervened and managed to calm things down temporarily. The officers even noted that Rose seemed to have some mental health issues and advised us to document everything. We took further steps to protect our property. We hired a surveyor to confirm the property lines, which revealed that Joe had removed both the front and back survey markers with his mower, an illegal act. The surveyor's report showed that the original fence had been installed about 6 feet inside the property line. When Joe saw the new property line stakes, he had a fit. We decided to move the new fence closer to the property line, which meant more work for our contractor, but less risk of Joe backing into it again. We installed a barrier to prevent him from hitting the new fence and bought a surveillance camera to document any further issues. Interestingly, our other neighbors began reaching out to us, offering support and sharing their own stories of Rose and Joe's troublesome behavior. Despite the ongoing challenges with Joe and Rose, we took comfort in the support from our other neighbors and the fact that we had reclaimed nearly 1,200 square feet of property. In the end, we completed the new fence, minus the glass panels that Rose had threatened to damage. We also chose not to cut into the asphalt of Joe's parking pad. While Rose still complains about the fence's appearance, we've learned to ignore her grievances. Our experience has been a difficult and sad chapter, but we're grateful for the decent neighbors who've stood by us. This ordeal taught us that standing up to difficult people can lead to positive outcomes, and sometimes the best way to handle conflict is to assert your rights and seek support from those around you. I want to know why all the other neighbors didn't fight back because of all the petty, obnoxious complaints that crazed woman made. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.